Dude, I don't know. He's a crazy motherfucker. Like when we just thought of the idea, we saw Bob and we were like, we want to make a bunch of memes with him. One night I was like, why not just start putting him into other bands' covers? Because I saw Facebook now has this new thing where the big pages have become profiles, and you're seeing the interaction between these profiles a lot more than you were in the past. So I saw bands using it to just like, give love to other bands. And I was like, I have to bring memes into this some way. And yeah, no. So Bob just got a hold of a fucking portal gun, man. He blazed with us one night and he just decided.
Headbangers. Hi, welcome back to the Headbangers podcast where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Here today is Duncan from Vulvodynia. How you doing, man? Start off with.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's fucking good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Really.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. So I want to start off with a little icebreaker. What's like the craziest, funniest, or worst tour stories that you've got?
Man, there's some crazy ones, but okay, I'll have to go with this. Happened on our third ever Europe tour. It was actually our headliner. And we were playing in Slovakia for the first time, and it was at this venue called the Coliseum, and the show went amazingly. It was fucking sold out, fucking awesome as fuck, and the promoter ended up telling the bar that he had such a good time that it's like free drinks for the bands. So the promoter ended up leaving, and the venue opened up to the public, and our sleeping area, this was the fuck up, our sleeping area was right upstairs from the venue, so like there was no incentive to leave. We just stayed and partied the whole night. And then like we have this saying in South Africa called Pus Lekker, and we were teaching it to everybody on the tour package. And Blade of Horus, their vocalist, was like saying it all to them, Pus Lekker, fuck yeah. Pus Lekker tattooed above my dick. And we were like, no way, dude, fuck yeah, we'll do it with you. So Tom, our drummer, and me, we go into the bathroom, we're shaving our fucking pubes, getting ready for this shit, dude. There's this Russian dude at the bar that's going to tattoo it now, okay? So he's getting his machines ready. It looks pretty fucking dodgy. The Australian dude, Foon, he lies down. We write Pus Lekker down on a piece of paper, okay? He starts doing the tattoo. He gets through Pus, he gets to Lekker, and now Lekker spelled L-E-K-K-E-R, okay? He gets L-E, instead of doing the K, he does another E. We all fucking freeze, dude. We're like, no fucking way. I'm freaking the fuck out. He's like, guys, what the fuck are we going to do? I'm like, dude, just relax. Don't freak out. Just cross out the E and turn it into a K. So this dude finishes this tattoo. We look down at it and we're like, man, this is like one of the worst tattoos I've ever seen in my life. Just fucking bails out. He's like, dude, I'm not getting this tattoo anymore. I was like, dude, we shaved our pubes already, bro. So I look down at the tattoo. I think to myself, man, like, I don't want to do this to this poor guy, but I'm still going to get the tattoo. So I told the tattoo artist, man, you can slap it on my leg. I'll get the tattoo as well. And I ended up getting the Pus Lekker tattooed on my leg. And I ended up getting the mistake done on my leg too, because I felt so bad for the Australian fella. I Pus Lekker tattooed on my leg, and later that night I ended up blacking out, super drunk, and I was like telling the bar staff that, no, I'm from South Africa, there's no way, I'm gonna go to sleep now, and they were trying to cut me off. And it got to the point where I was behind the bar, like just like stealing drinks and fucking drinking shit, and the bar staff, there was this big lady that was missing a tooth, like this big fucking Slovakian lady, and she knocked me the fuck out, bro. They caught it all on CCTV. She like just threw me in my bed pretty much. And yeah, so that was a crazy night, dude. I woke up the next day with like a busted lip and like this tattoo that I had no knowledge of. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, that was a crazy night. I think that was in 2018.
Wow. Well, any night with like free drinks all night is going to end up in a mess.
Yeah, the promoter knew what we were doing at that point. Like,
Borovishka, it's like this fucking, it's pretty much like Slovakian moonshine. And they're feeding me that shit, dude. So I was blackout drunk at one point, and yeah, big regrets the next day. I was feeling it.
I'm not surprised.
Well, while we're sort of on like the subjects like tattoos, obviously you're a guy that has a lot of tattoos. What's been your favorite piece of work that you've had done, and why?
Say again, what is that?
Since we're on like sort of the subject of tattoos, obviously you've got quite a few. What's probably like your favorite tattoo that you've had done, and why?
It has to go with it's a hard choice between the Vulvodynia tattoo that I have on my leg, because each member in the band actually has the tattoo, and also face tattoos, man. Because just going into the face tattoos was such a big statement for me. I never wanted to work a normal job ever again, and I just made sure that it was a job stopper for me, pretty much. Because here in South Africa, having face tattoos, you'll never work corporate or a normal gig ever again. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm committing my life to music, and boom, face tats.
I was gonna say, like, I suppose when you get a face tattoo and you know, like, you're in it now, like, there's no turning back. So it's like you've got the ultimate motivation for life. You're like, shit, I've got to do it now. This is my baby now.
It took a few years, like, for us to like tour the world and hit a few places, and then I just realized, man, like, I'm not turning back now. This is what I'm going to do full time, and it has been a full time job before COVID hit. So, yeah, no, I don't regret it, dude, at all.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So I definitely have to bring this up, but I absolutely love the adventures of Bob the Butcher and everyone's album covers. Like, how did this all come about? Like, is it just for a laugh, or is this just the cleverest marketing technique that you guys have done?
Well, like, dude, I don't know. He's a crazy motherfucker. Like, when we just thought of the idea, we saw Bob and we were like, we want to make a bunch of memes with him. One night I was like, why not just start putting him into other bands' covers? Because I saw Facebook now has this new thing where the big pages have become profiles. Yeah. And you're seeing the interaction between these profiles a lot more than you were in the past. So I saw bands using it to just, like, you know, give love to other bands. And I was like, I have to bring memes into this some way. And yeah, no. So Bob just got a hold of a fucking portal gun, man. He blazed with us one night and he just decided... I don't know. Hopefully he might come back today. We'll see how shit goes. It all depends on how many views we get on our new fucking song.
Well, speaking of obviously the new song, you're all obviously raring up to get an album out. What's something we can expect from this album that we haven't really heard from Vulvodynia before?
Well, the thing is, like, we're going a lot more in like a melodic death and like tech death. I don't know, like. Way with this album, but I feel like we've done that before with Finis Omnium Ignorantium, and like we want to touch more on those aspects because our guitarist Chris and Luandile are already so fucking amazing at the shit that they do in their side projects, and we're like, we have to incorporate this into Vulvodynia somehow. So I don't know, I feel like it's a lot less slam than Psychosadistic was, but it still has a lot of the slam elements, and we've incorporated a lot of guest features that will please the slam fans. But yeah, I don't know. It's more of a tech death than a mellow death album to us. And we've also incorporated a lot more songwriting and storytelling in this album than we have in the previous albums. Like with Psychosadistic Design, each song was about a different serial killer. But when it came to writing the lyrics, we just went, you know, balls to the wall, like brutality and fucking all kinds of shit like that. But this new album, we wanted to really touch base with what happened in Finis Omnium Ignorantium, because we felt that Praenantius was a character that really stuck. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot more storytelling and shit like that the fans will be into in the song.
No,
I'm excited to hear it, man.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Can you fill us in then about the concept of this newest album? Like, what were your inspirations going into it? Like, not even just musically, but you mentioned serial killers in the past before. So what's kind of the things you're going to delve into in this one?
Well, this album is actually following Praenantius, and he's an interdimensional being that was born by the sin of the gods before time itself. So, like, before time itself, the gods were fucking partying, having a jolt, and they gave birth to this fucking demon baby, and they were like, what the fuck is this shit? And they cast it out into the abyss. And so Praenantius grew up in the darkness, just wondering, you know, who the fuck am I? Why am I here? And he ended up being stronger than the gods themselves and taking them on in this album. And to do that, he devours the entire universe. And with every planet that he swallows, he becomes stronger and stronger in his quest for omnipotence. So yeah, this album is just his glory story and pretty much just universal deicide.
Oh man, that sounds sick.
Yeah, no, like,
you ever thought about doing like a graphic novel of it as well? That'd be fucking sick to see.
We want to do a graphic novel, and we've now, since Bob hit it big, we also want to do like a Where's Waldo type book or Where's Wally type.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, man.
And we just have like all these fucked up gory scenes, and like you have to look for Bob in it. So yeah, you can look out for those two type of things, merch items coming soon.
No, absolutely, I've absolutely loved it, to be honest. Like, just the interaction is quite wholesome between like you guys and other bands like Shadow of Intent and Slaughter to Prevail and stuff like that. Like, just seeing him everywhere on his little adventures, just honestly, it cracks me up.
Everybody kind of embraced him, you know what I mean? It's cool that all the other bands are just embracing him and going along with the meme. It just shows that metal shouldn't be taken so seriously, and like we can all stand there and fucking have a good time, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've always said this. It's like, it's good to take your music serious, but you also need to find like some humor in it, because like I do vocals myself, and I've been like, I can't take it too seriously, because at the end of the day, I'm just screaming down a microphone for fucking 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, dude. Yeah, no, I like to say that to my mom. I'm like, Mom, you know, I make a living just touring around the world screaming at people.
And that's what's cool about it though, because like you do it and everyone goes, yeah, that sounds sick, and you're like, cheers.
But yeah, no, that's why I don't know. I don't really dig vocalists that try and act all brutal off stage, because it's like you can have that persona on stage and, you know, give that act, but I don't know why you'd want to do it off stage. It's like it just seems weird. Certain dudes, even in interviews, they'll just be like, you know.
Yeah, well, I've met some people like that, and like I've always been like very comfortable in just being myself. So if someone ever came up to me like, "Oh, I like your band," I'd be like, "Oh, thank you." I'll literally go, you want me to buy you a drink?
Yeah, no, I couldn't imagine touring with a band like that. That must be a nightmare, like being on the tour bus and you're all having a good time and this guy's just sitting there like, you know, super grumpy.
Yeah, it's just like, it feels like people try too hard when they like try and act that way, like outside of the stage. I'm just like, bro, we both know like you're not like that when you're sat at home playing PlayStation, so fuck off.
No, exactly, man, exactly. I think you gotta show that to the fans as well, because then they can connect with you on like a personal level. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's very few musicians that actually act that way, but I think it's a big thing in like the black metal side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's like they don't turn it off. I'm like, all right, but what you know, like, have you played any games recently, like, or anything like that? They just sat there drinking the wine, like, nah. But whilst we're on like sort of the subject of vocals, you have become like probably one of the biggest, like I would say one of the biggest vocalists in metal at the minute. From like, no, because you're literally everywhere and everyone's talking about it, how great your lows are. But I've also noticed your highs are getting like insane as well. I want to ask, what's like sort of the preparation that's gone into like refining your vocals? Like, how often do you practice, and what do you do to try to practice and refine it?
Yeah. I think with any instrument or with any muscle, you have to train it and practice every day. You know what I mean? So like, I like to practice every day, at least an hour a day, but you have to also warm up for at least half an hour. And I really love the Melissa Cross, like Zen of Screaming warm-ups. I know a lot of people find it hard to understand, but if you can get into that, it's some of the best warm-ups there are out there. But I've been doing vocals now for, it's crazy. I think I started in like 2009, so it's almost like 12 years now. And I started out doing inhales for the first 4 years. I didn't even know exhales were possible. And because I started off with a lot of the heavy slam bands and brutal death metal acts. Yep. And, you know, with inhales, you can replicate those sounds perfectly. And then I started watching bands in my local scene live, like Dean Crescent. There's a band called Dean Crescent from here, which was awesome. The Dead Will Tell. A Fate Like Yours, like these were all these like MySpace era deathcore bands from South Africa, and I saw them like spitting exhale lows and shit like that for the first time, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So around like 2011 I started practicing exhales, and I started losing my inhales, which I regret, because I've seen some artists like Artspire where Ollie uses his inhales and exhales together to have like endless singing. Like whenever you need to take a breath, you just do an inhale vocal instead. But yeah, so I lost my inhales after about 4 years, and then I just started doing exhales, and I was heavily influenced by like Phil Bozeman and Adam Warren as well, and a lot of these sick fucking low vocalists. But no, it took quite a while, about 12 years to get to the level that I am now. And I'm just grateful that it eventually picked up, because I remember in the beginning, all I wanted for like the first 6 years was just to have my voice on a song, and recording studios and like recording a song back in South Africa back in those days was super expensive. And now that home studios are a thing, it's super rad. I can get my voice on as many songs as I want.
Oh, home studios and like actually being able to demo stuff like without going to a recording studio is so good. Like,
yeah, no, it literally saved us.
Yeah, it's literally like it's so easy. It's so easy. Like the guitarist just sends you a riff and like, what do you think? I'm like, oh, add this in the drums, and it's like you don't have to even like, you don't have to spend any like money or all. You just like do it.
In our bedrooms, like the first 3 Vulvodynia albums, all in our bedrooms, and all sent to each other by email and then sent to producers afterwards. Like, this is actually the first album that Vulvodynia has ever gotten together and recorded together, like in a studio. Yeah. And also all the previous Vulvodynia albums were all like machine drums. And now we're using real drums for the first time, which is super rad. So this next album, like the realest Vulvodynia album there's ever been, in my opinion.
I like you mentioned the Zen of Screaming, because it's almost like the metal Bible for doing vocals. Like, I've seen so many people mention it. I mean, I've got it on DVD as well because I wanted to start learning. I think Nathan's watched it as well. Like,
yeah, no, because like Brad at one point wanted me to like sort of teach him how to do vocals, and there's this really fucking funny thing that I like taught him. I'm like, all right, do you know how to like sort of like engage your diaphragm? And he goes, no. I go, do like a dog bark. It's like a good way to figure out where your diaphragm is, because when you do it from like a proper belly sort of like position, you know where that is immediately. So he's like doing a dog bark. So I do like a proper vocal dog bark, and he goes, I go, no, you do it. He just goes, boo! But he sounds like as if someone's like taking the piss. I was like, no, you're doing it wrong.
Like the best explanation I have as well when I'm trying to explain to somebody that's starting out is like when you're trying to warm your hands up and you spit out like, that warm breath. That warm breath, it's warmer because it's coming from your diaphragm. So like if you can just start pushing that out, then you can add a bit of your voice to it and get it out that way. That's also a way that I like to explain it. But I remember when I first watched Zen of Screaming back in the day, I didn't understand fuck all that was going on. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Like over the pencil and under the pencil, and like all these different things and techniques. And I was just like, whoa. But now coming back to it and watching it after a few years of like seeing techniques and hearing techniques on the road, I've just taken a lot more from it. So it's an essential thing for all vocalists.
Yeah, for sure.
It helped me a lot, like initially, because like once I sort of figured out how to use my diaphragm and I started watching it more, I'm like, okay. So now I'll just move on to it was just it literally like something clicked, and I was like, okay, that's how you do it. Like I find as well when you're practicing with the band, like you tend to push yourself a lot further, and then you go, I figured out something new now.
Exactly. I feel like it helps a lot more with stamina and with live performance and stuff like that, because you can have like the sickest tone, but like if you're not using the correct breathing and like all those type of techniques, you can only vocal for so long. And when you have to play live, then it's like, you're dying. So like that's why I feel like watching those type of things are essential to just pick up sick stamina and sick breathing techniques.
Absolutely. I want to ask as well, which song, in your opinion, is the one that you're most proud of writing, like lyrically or anything that you've laid down on a track? It's like, this is my magnum opus, this is my best track. Is there any songs like that for you in your catalogue?
Definitely. I feel like if you had asked me that a year ago, I would have said it would be. Let me just think now, because that is such a hard question. No, like if you asked me that a year ago, I would say it would have probably been Veil of Moonlight by my side project Zavleg, the band with the really long name. And just because that song has like this really cool like fairy tale theme, and like I wrote characters into the song and like done different vocal techniques for each character, voicing them and those type of things. And after I realized how awesome that song came out, I wanted to write an entire album like that. And that's where the new Vulvodynia album comes in. And like the entire album is like a novel for me. It took me so long to finish all the lyrics. There's like pages upon pages. And like, I just feel like, it has to be the entire new Vulvodynia album when it comes to that question. It's so in depth, and I could spend days talking about it.
Absolutely. Well, I love how much thought you put into it and how much in depth like your little Vulvodynia universe is. Like, I don't know, you could, like Nathan said, you can imagine it being like a novel or, some comic books or something.
Yeah. No, because at the end of Finis Omnium Ignorantium, the album in 2015, Praenantius devours the earth. Okay, so in the beginning of this album, the shadowy descent of Gaia, that first single, that song's about the earth traveling down Praenantius's gullet into his belly. Oh, wow. And just the journey that the planet goes through. And the new song that we're releasing at midnight tonight is called Eternal Wasteland of Galaxies, and that's now the earth entering his belly. And within his belly, there's like millions of planets that he's devoured before. And that's why it's the Eternal Wasteland of Galaxies. And in his belly, he starts harvesting the misery and the agony from all the life form in his belly. And that's his form of power, and he's like food.
That's so cool.
Man. No, that's such an interesting concept. Like, I would literally, if that was a comic book, I would buy it and like just read it constantly. Like, it's such an interesting concept because like out of all, I've not really heard many bands like come out and like this is the start, like a full story of the album. I think I've only ever like spoke to at least 2 bands that have actually done it, and like I think that is so cool that you're doing it.
Yeah, no, very few bands do it, but I feel like it's such an awesome thing doing a full story concept. And this album from start to end is like pretty much, hold on, sorry. There we go. Yeah, this album from start to end is pretty much like the end of the story. Like we can't go on further with this story, but I feel like Bob and his character will probably carry on in the next album. And if we do another album next year, probably Bob will be the center of the album, and it's going to be like Psychosadistic Design 2.0, and we'll be touching on the psyche of serial killers and things like that.
That's so cool. I like to see like the biggest budget for you guys doing like a main stage performance, like just to see what you could do, like just to get someone to dress up as Bob, or just like get some set designs. Like if you could do anything that you wanted in the world, what would you do?
Yeah. Sorry, hold on. It's just, I'm so sorry, guys. This thing's just...
It's all good.
No worries.
Right, there we go. Perfect. Sorry, man. Just give me that question one more time.
Yeah, so if you had like unlimited budget to put on like the biggest stage performance ever, like what kind of props and what kind of stuff would be going on? Like, would there be someone dressed up as Bob the Butcher? Like, what's going on?
Oh man, that's such a cool question. Like when we released Mob Justice in 2019, we actually, because that album was about Africa and the horrors that we face in Africa, for a big stage scene, we wanted to actually do like a full African scene and have like backup dancers, like gumboot dancers and all kinds of like dudes doing African things in the background, as well as like have like like dudes dressed as lions and shit like that. But like for this new album, I think it would be so dope to have like all the characters on the album cover on stage, like with us, like pretending to run, and then have that creature in the background of the cover actually behind us, like fucking Iron Maiden style.
That's sick.
Oh, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool.
I would put just Bob on stage with us to be true.
Oh, mate, you know what you could do as well? You could intensify the meme and get like a shirt printed of Bob running away as well, whilst Bob's actually running away on stage. Like,
yep.
Come Bob.
Yeah, it's like Bob within a Bob.
Yeah.
Doing like a Bob mask, that would be so cool. Like if we could get a proper mask, because I've seen those realistic masks of people that go on the internet, and it'd be so cool, man. And then we could get somebody who has his body shape to just wear the mask with us.
Just can't. He could be the merch guy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
It's just like I just got a T-shirt from Bob. one thing I kind of want to ask you as well is like, how did like Vulvodynia start? Like, how did you all meet?
Well, it started out as like an internet band because we were all living in different cities here in South Africa. I was living here in Port Elizabeth, where I am now, and our guitarist Luke was living in Durban, and he was playing in another band called Your Cynical Sanity. They're actually still going, and he had just left that band, and I really liked the sound and the stuff that he wrote with them. So I sent him a message on Facebook, and I was just like, "Hey, dude!" Like, and it was so funny. I was like sending him my vocals over voice notes, but I like, "Hey, dude, these are my vocals. I'd love if we could just start an online project together and like go as brutal as possible." And he was just like so cool about it, and he trusted me, and he went into studio and wrote 3 tracks. And that was the EP. So yeah, it was like we hadn't even met each other, and we were recording the songs together. And then after the songs were done, he flew up to Joburg, and we hung out a bit. And yeah, we never looked back.
Hell yeah, man. And I want to ask about your personal life as well. So, like, what kind of hobbies and interests do you have outside of music? Things that people might not know about you.
Yeah. Fuck, man. There's so many. But at the moment, I'm really into photography. I just got a camera recently, and like I'm studying into that a lot. So I love that. But graphic design as well, and also like just clothing design and things like that. E-commerce. Like I'm really big into that, and that's what I've been doing for like the past 3 years. So yeah, no, I have quite a few things going.
I mean, I've just got a film camera. Like a proper old, like little analog camera.
Yeah, next time we're up there, you come and film one of the sets, dude.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't. That would never be a no. Like, just come down, take some photos. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in like literally 5 minutes. When do you want me?
It'd be so sick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, me and Nathan, I've been into photography for a while. When I did university, I studied like filmmaking and photography and graphic design, so that was always like my jam, man. I used to do like short films, music videos, all that kind of stuff.
And I think it's essential as well. If you're in a band, like you need somebody in the band that can do those things, and if everybody in the band can do it, it's like a plus, man. Because like if you need a graphic on the fly, or if you need like a quick video edit, then you can just be like, hey, this guy's free, dude, can you do it quick? Can you make the post? Blah, blah, blah. So like, yeah, it's essential to have different things like that. And like, if you want to be a touring band, you need to have side hustles and hobbies like that. And if you can have a hobby that makes money, then yeah, you don't have to worry about working any jobs and making money for other people.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely. Like it's so good knowing how to like just even edit a quick 2-second video. Like in my band, like Jordan and me, we're quite into our graphics design and stuff like that. So when it comes to making something just on the fly, like you know for a fact it's either one of me or Jordan that just go, yeah, give me 2 seconds, I'll bang that out literally right now. It's always just a useful skill to have, because then you never have to really pay anyone to do it and like waste money if it ends up not being what you want.
It's crazy how many bands pay other people to make their graphics and run their social media and things like that. If you can do it and you have people who have time in the band to do it, then it's fucking awesome. But like not everybody has the privilege of like, quitting their day job and doing the music thing full time.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing that I've always wanted to sort of like build up to. Like eventually, if everything took off, because I work in IT and it's fucking like it's an annoying industry to work in.
But like you get so many cool online like ventures that you could do. Like even with your skill, like as an IT guy, like you could make a Fiverr account, and there's like thousands of jobs that you could put up on Fiverr, and like that are like would take you like 10 minutes to do. And like I make a lot of money on my Fiverr account as well. And I have like other side ventures and hobbies that I need, to pay my rent. But luckily living in South Africa, our currency is super weak. So if I can make money in dollars and exchange it into our currency, it's like, I can be balling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, Nathan told me to get a Fiverr because I love doing video editing. Like I did Nathan's music video and filmed and edited that. So I think I would like to get into Fiverr to get like some more jobs doing it.
all of those websites, as many websites as you can find where you can put your work up there, you should do it, dude, because there's such simple shit, dude. Like you could put up a job to like grade somebody's video, but for like cheap, for like $10 or $5, and then you just drag it in and put in presets.
Yeah,
and
it's easy.
Like if they're paying you peanuts, like they're not expecting the best. So like you can just use presets and things like that and send shit back and you make good money like that, dude. So like, yeah, you need lots of side ventures and hobbies to do music full time. Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
And to be band, like if you can do shit like that from your phone, like do a quick edit from your phone for clients on Fiverr, dude, you're fucking balling, dude.
Yeah, just on the train, just like, yeah, there you go, I sent it to you. Where's my £10?
Yeah, all these apps on your phone and shit now that you can fucking just like download and use like to do the job. So it's there's no excuses, man. You can make money just from your phone. You don't even need a computer.
Yes, put an Instagram preset on it.
Like even iPads now, like you can literally just get an iPad and then just like be able to work from that fully.
Because people do that, dude. Like there's like Fiverr jobs where it's like they'll edit 10 of your images for $5. And you can scroll through it. It's clearly just Lightroom presets, bro. They're just like, that's all you do. They just send it over.
Easy peasy.
So like as well, like one thing I want to ask, obviously you guys grew up in like South Africa. What was like the metal scene in South Africa like?
Yeah, it's always been super small, man. I feel like everybody here is always so hungry for the international bands, and Africa has never been a destination on world tours. Like nobody ever comes through. But because of that, South Africa spawned some really brutal bands because we don't get to see any of the brutal acts this side. And I know that's one of the reasons why Vulvodynia started. But there's always been like quite a small, cool metal scene here in South Africa. Bands never really break through and hit the international market, and that's the one sad thing, because you'll get such sick bands like those ones that I mentioned before, like the Dead Will Tell, that like brought out awesome albums, were rocking it, and were such talented musicians, but didn't know how to market themselves properly, and then ended up just breaking up because of it. So I feel like we're trying to inspire new bands and show them that if you market your shit properly, you can make it and, get out of South Africa. Because we're one of the first bands to actually tour and leave South Africa. There was a band back in the 90s called Groin Churn that actually broke through and hit the like international grind scene. But yeah, we were the only band since that has gone as far as, we have in the heavy music scene. So yeah, we just want to inspire all the other South African bands and make sure that all the other African musicians like actually promote this shit properly, because they're fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. And on the topic of that as well, then, obviously you guys have been growing quite a lot over the last few years, especially if you look back over the last 5 years, I'd say. What would you say was the turning point when you felt, oh, we're actually going to make it now?
Yeah, I feel like it has to be on our first European tour, man. Like, because I'd never flown on a plane. I'd never left South Africa or anything like that. And then we had our first European tour because we signed with Lacerated Enemy Records. And in the contract with Lacerated was that he would cover a European tour, like book it for us, book the van, and like book our accommodation, all of that. All we have to do is pay for the flights. So that was a big turning point for us in like deciding which label we wanted to go with. So we chose that, and he offered that and set it up in 2017. And yeah, flying over to Germany for the first time, I think we flew straight to Frankfurt. That whole experience was just like blew my mind, dude. And the moment we landed in Germany, I was like, whoa. And then when we played the first show and it was sold out and I saw the amount of people, man, I was in tears. It was fucking amazing.
No, I bet. That's super awesome.
No, it must be a surreal experience, like especially like the first like European tour and just being like, man.
Yeah, man. Like realizing that the fans were real, because we had so many fans and it was all online and we had never actually met them in person, and then like getting there and just seeing everybody and like we're like, what the fuck, it's all so real. So yeah, it was fucking awesome, man, and really just also proved it to everybody that was like hating on us, because there were a lot of people, especially like rock musicians and like musicians in other genres in South Africa. They were like, this is fake. Like they were seeing how many like likes we were getting and like our reach on Facebook, and they were like, this can't be real. And then when we started posting the crowd shots from our first tour, they couldn't deny it. We're like, in your
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. You always get like those people that as soon as you like start doing well, like, no, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. It's always from a place of like they're like really unhappy that their band's not in the same place, so they need to discredit you in some way to make themselves feel better.
And in the music scene, yeah, people are always like, oh, you can't play music, like brutal music, and expect to go far. Like you can't play that heavy shit and like blah blah blah. That you have to play commercial music. That's what they teach in the music schools, yeah. And like the thing is, we're doing better than most of the commercial artists. So you can't be. You have to teach that you have to pick a niche, which is your genre, and like be good at it. That's what you got to do. Like if you pick a super commercial genre, there's so many people and it's like so diluted that you're gonna have a hard time breaking through.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
it's
definitely
weird though, like that you built up all this big audience like online, and then you played your first show when the audience is always there, because most bands, I imagine, would kind of play loads of gigs to build up the audience first. So it's interesting that you guys have managed to do it that way.
Yeah, because the thing is, we were playing lots of shows in South Africa. That's the thing. We were like, we were actually killing South Africa, playing too many shows. Yeah, like everybody had seen us. But the cool thing about that is we had so many cool live photos and like shit like that people could get excited about that side. But I don't know. Europe is a different thing. Europe and the UK, it's so much bigger than anything we had played this side, because we were used to playing like maybe maximum 50 people, or like, dude, if you played 100, it's like an outdoor festival or something like that. It's gotten bigger since then, but like, yeah, no, when we hit Europe for the first time, the first show was already, I think, like 120 people or something, and we were like, what the fuck? So yeah, Germany is also insane. It's one of my favorite places to play.
I've always wanted to go to Germany, because I've always heard like the scenes and gigs there are just, like so much better than like the UK. Like,
just attend some festivals there, man. There's Death Feast Open Air, which is actually one of my favorite festivals in the world, and that's in Germany. So if you ever want to go there, just to go to that festival.
No, we'll do.
Definitely. I've always wanted to go to like different countries for like a festival or a gig or something, because it's like, it's one of those things I want to see how like other like scenes sort of like go, like how crazy people are.
And like, I think France as well is like one ferry away, and they got that Hellfest and all these like
Hellfest this year just looks like they've got everybody like, it's like, do you want to play Hellfest? Yeah.
Every band in the world.
It literally looks like the promoter just went, right, call everyone on your phone. And they did, and they all said yes, and they were like, shit, they all said yes.
I don't know how much that must cost, dude. It must be like in like the multi-millions. Like I can't imagine how much it must cost.
Just Metallica must be in the multi-millions. Just Metallica alone, like
it just looks like a festival on its own. It just makes no sense. It's so insane.
Well, I was saying, like, I can imagine like some promoters easily got into trouble. It's like, how many fucking bands did you book, David? How many? All of them? What the fuck you mean? We haven't got enough money in the budget for this shit.
You only got 3 days on, you've booked 7.
Genuinely, like, it's such an insane like lineup. Like, I can't imagine like if I go, I'll end up like coming back going, you know what, I'm taking a break from gigs for like a month.
Yeah. And like so many good bands playing at the same time. Like I feel bad for the people attending the festival, because they're probably like, what the fuck? What stage am I supposed to be at now? You probably have to plan out the whole thing like for a week.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to like toss a coin every time you went to see a band. Right. Who do you want to see? I want to see this. All right, but we can't go. We'll have to go together.
Yeah, because you have to plan the trips in between the stages and shit like that, or else you get to the stage and the band you went through watch is finished. And fuck, dude, those festivals that big actually become a nightmare, especially if you lose your homies.
Oh yeah, because I remember when I went to Download like in 2019, and I remember I was like the only one that, because you know Alien Weaponry, they were like playing. I was like, I really want to fucking see these guys. These guys are pretty sick. But I was the only one that wanted to wake up that early to see them. So I ended up like being lost for like majority of the day. So I was just like wandering about Download going, Where's everyone gone?
Find your friends, you end up going back to the camp and like you sit there for a bit and you're like, where the fuck is everybody, man? No, I've been in that camp, and if you like take psychedelics and that happens, fuck, then it's a nightmare, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody's a fucking demon and shit.
Like, I'm on a fucking come up.
You there
I'm on a come up.
You're there doing some fucking Jaeger bombs with Bob.
Well, you know it, bro.
I remember because I was on my own majority of the day. I ended up running. This was like a weird thing. So I ran into like my ex's at that point new boyfriend, and then like he was like way older than me. And he was there like, "Oh, Dave, you all right? You want a beer?" And I was there like, "Oh, hiya, how you doing?" I ended up watching like Power Trip set with him that long, and the entire time he was complaining about my ex to me, and I was there like, I just want to get out of this situation. So I waited until like one big guy went, "Oh, you want to go up to crowd surf?" I was like, "Yeah," and I fucked off the other way around. I was there like, "Nah, I'm not sitting there in it. I'm like here to watch fucking Power Trip." Like, genuinely, I was there like, "How the fuck do I get out of this situation?"
Yeah, no, festivals are fucking crazy, man. I miss them though. I miss them. Like that download now actually looks insane. I think it's still going now. I think today's the last day.
Yeah, a few of my mates, they've gone, and they said it's been pretty insane to see, because they're like it will like it's like stepping in a time machine almost. Like,
yeah, it looks crazy.
So like normal almost, like.
Yeah, they've shown that it can be done, because they've taken really strict precautions when it comes to the like entry by the looks of it. Like I think you need a test. I don't know about that.
Negative test.
Yeah. So because my mate asked me to go, but I couldn't get the time off work, and he went, "Oh, you need to provide like a test like a week before, or like I think even like a day before, and then all the way going up to your camp, you've got to wear a mask, but." In general, once you're in like sort of the festival area and that, you don't have to wear one, and it's no social distancing. So like,
I saw like crazy and like fucking stacked crowds. I was watching Malevolence and their stories and shit.
Well, Malev's like were the best one to like show the crowds, I think, because like out of all the bands that went, I think they like live streamed it, posted about it the most. Like, yeah. So like seeing that crowd like there, I was like,
and it made me so jelly. I was like, fuck, I need that. But like our vaccines are rolling out really slowly here in South Africa, which sucks. And I think we'll only get our vaccines in like September-ish, around about there. I fucking, I'm hoping we get them ASAP. Because we need them to be able to go on tour by next year.
Yeah, well, the UK has done really well with that. I've managed to book my first one. It's like next Wednesday. And
dude, yeah, that's so soon. I don't know, ours is still rolling out slow as fuck. Africa's always behind, dude.
Well, I was joking to my mates. I was like, I'm gonna just go there and go like, stick me with both of them now. And when they go, what, we can't do that, I go, nah, just do it. Get it over with.
Yeah, dude, there's so many people like with these conspiracy theories and shit like that, and they're like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna take it. I'm like, dude, just fucking
do it.
I think what's in it, dude? There can be a poison in there. Just fucking give it to me, dude. I need it now. I want to be able to tour now.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like we were talking about it at like the last practice, and like, you know, like, a couple of lads like, oh, I don't know, because I'm 50-50 on it. I was like, guys, we're all getting it, and they're like, why? I'm like, because otherwise we can't fucking gig.
You know, that's the most important.
We're getting it.
Just do it for the gig.
So I was like, if it means I can go back to normal, I'll happily, I'll be like, yeah, stick 3 of them in me just to be sure.
We're trying to plan like maybe 3 shows in September in South Africa for our album launch, and then it doesn't look like we're gonna play anything besides that this year, and then the Ingesta tour next year. We're just really bummed because we also had Hammer Sonic booked in Indonesia. And there was like this massive festival with like Slipknot headlining and shit like that. And it seems like it's getting rescheduled to the same time as the Ingested tour. So like this whole rescheduling with everything has always fucked everything over. But I'm just excited to get back on the tour, like back on the road. And next year we're probably going to hit Australia and Asia as well, if everything goes well.
I really hope that the Ingested one goes ahead there, because that's going to be such a good gig, and it's in Leeds as well. So let's just stroll down.
It has to, dude. Like, I mean, the third time now being postponed already, it seriously has to. I don't know if the booking agency is going to want to postpone it again if it has to be, but I doubt it.
Well, while on like the sort of subject of touring, like, out of all the places you've been to with Vulvodynia, what's been like your favorite place to play and why?
Whoa, okay, yeah, I love almost every place we've ever gone because, like I said, I'd never left South Africa beforehand. But like, there's so many different crazy places. I'd have to say Australia so far for me, just because the weather is the closest thing that I've seen to South Africa. They have like really nice weather out there. It's nice and warm and like really good beaches and shit like that. New Zealand was also so fucking beautiful, dude, when we went there. It's like Lord of the Rings shit.
Yeah,
driving. So, yeah, and Switzerland as well, dude. When we played Switzerland, we played like a big festival there called Rock the Hell, and man, it was fucking awesome. It looked like the scenery was CGI. That's what we were saying. It felt like any moment everything was just gonna glitch out and we're in a wasteland or something. The grass is like the same length everywhere, and it's like green as fuck, and it just looks unreal wherever we went. It just looked so nice. But I don't know, dude, there's so many amazing places. Our guitarist Luke lives in the UK at the moment, and we fucking love the UK. I know our other guitarist Luandile said if there's any place he'd love to move to, it would be the UK. The US is scary as fuck. Like, I watch too much Cops, dude. So we went to the US for the first time. We actually got pulled over, and we had some bud with us. And I remember like the one cop searching our van, and the other cop like just standing there like looking at us. But he had his hand on his gun the whole time, like as if he was ready for Wild West style. And like, dude, we was pretty much standing with our hands in the air, and he didn't even tell us to do that. We were just like so scared because
like, nah, I'm not taking chances.
This pressed me.
And dude, it just like, I don't know, a lot of the southern states in the US are scary, like when you run into like those hillbilly type. Because like I felt like the cops that pulled us over were like hillbillies, dude. And the guy walks up to us and he's like, "You guys look like a band." And we were like, "Yes, officer, we are a band." And he's like, "I like Nickelback."
Yes,
we were like,
defo.
We were like, officer, just like Nickelback. Yes, just like. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of cool places that.
Did he find the bud that you had?
Let's say again.
Did he find the bud that you had, or did he manage to get away with it?
Yeah, it was fucking scary, man. Like the thing is, we had like a bunch of these like oil pens that we were smoking in the van, and they first found those, okay, and then they came to us and they were like, "We're gonna search your luggage bags. If we find anything more, then we're gonna take you guys in." Like that's what he was saying. Because when they pulled us out of the car, they originally told us that they're looking for like hard drugs, because they like pointed the torches in our eyes. It was during the day, and they had torches. Anyway, they pointed torches in our eyes, and they were like, "Your pupils are dilated," and we were just stoned as fuck, dude, because we were smoking. And we were like, no. And so anyway, he was like, "If we find anything else in the luggage bags, you guys are going to be taken in." And we were like, because all we knew of was the pens, but we were like, "No, there's nothing in the bags at all." And they called back up for 2 other cops, and they just started like ripping open all of our luggage and like checking the pockets in our pants, in our bags, and like all kinds of shit. Like the most intense search I've ever seen in my life.
Jesus Christ.
Our bassist, he doesn't drink or anything else like that. He's like straight edge, but he smokes weed, and he drinks coffee. And he had a big fucking jar of bud in his bag. And for some reason, we looked at him and he didn't tell us. He just didn't think they would check that far. And yeah, they pulled this giant jar of bud out of there, and I went pale, dude. I almost had a heart attack. And after everything, we were just like, guys, we're from South Africa. We need to get to the show we're going to tonight. And we told them that bud's legal in South Africa, which it is. And then they were like, okay. And we had bought the bud that we had in a state where it was legal. That's what we told them as well. And eventually, after a lot of convo with them, they were like, no, you guys can go. And they confiscated the bud. Yeah, but it was so, like, right at the end, he like gives me a paper and a pen, and he's like, oh, write down the band name. And like, I was like, yes, officer. Like, as I lean in to try and write it, my hand is shaking like fucking terribly, dude. I'm just a pen came on this piece of paper and like gave it back to this cop, dude. So yeah, no, the US is fucking no joke, dude, when it comes to the cops that side, dude.
Oh no, come on.
Oh yeah, I'd be so terrified living in the US. Like, because like you never know. Like, it's just fucking, it seems like everything always kicks off. It's always like
it's like everybody's trigger happy, bro. But I really love New York, and like Florida was really cool. Although I know there's lots of hillbillies and crazy shit in Florida, but Florida was dope. It was just so hot, weirdly. Like, we experienced heat that was even crazier than African heat, dude. Like, we were like sweat. It was the humidity as well. It was like 100% humidity all the time. So we were all just sweating constantly. And like, you climb out of the shower and you already start sweating. And it's just like, it's so shit. You need aircon all the time. We played in a few venues where there wasn't aircon. And like, we were just melting, dude, melting. We played in a church.
I can't imagine it worse than like playing a packed out gig whilst it's 100% humidity, while there's also like a good few thousand people in there. I'd pass out. I'd be like, nah.
For sure.
Like, you want to pass out. Like, I was even sitting down at some sections, dude. I was like, fuck, if I don't sit down now, I'm gonna die.
Wow.
Fucking hell, man. No, I can't. I genuinely can't imagine anything worse than that.
No, me too. Me too.
And we played in a church as well. There was like just some mistake, I don't know, by the booking agent, but somehow like it said it was this venue. It had this venue name, and we got there, and it was just like this big sign that said New Christ Church, and we're like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And we get there, and it's like the Sunday school. It's like where all the kids meet up on the Sunday, and there's like different classrooms, and they tell us, okay, there's no drinking here, there's no bar, nothing like that. And we have like these 6-packs with beer with us and shit. And we're like, fuck, what the fuck? And knowing the fucking band, our drummer Tom sneaks some beers in, and he's like fucking drinking backstage. Backstage area is just like this fucking like kiddies like fucking classroom, dude.
You all just sat on like chairs that are too small for you, like
yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck is this, guys? Like, what's going on? And he's drinking, and he knocks his beer over by mistake, and he like grabs this like curtain off the wall or something, and he like just like dabs the beer off the carpet, like, oh shit, guys, you know, cleaning it up. And the next day we just see this like giant hate post from the promoter of the gig. And he's just like, never book Vulvodynia. They trashed the place. And well, to be fair as well, there was like this one dude that was crowd killing, and he just like swung his fist and like smashed a hole into one of the walls. It was like walls. So with that and the beer and everything, yeah, they put it all into one big post, and we were just like, what did you expect? Like, you booking a fucking death metal band?
Exactly.
At a fucking
Exactly.
No, it's like, what were you expecting everyone to be sat there going, yay? No,
exactly.
What did you expect it to be standing?
It was so fucking weird, and there was no stage as well. Like, I had to just use like a riser, and yeah, no, it was a fucking interesting show, dude.
I mean, to be fair, even though they posted about any press is good press because it's still getting your name out there as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I don't know, shame. Like, everybody in the band, such sweethearts, and we always like hated it if we ever see anything like that. So we were trying our best to douse the fire, but like, there's no looking back. I guess they were bad Christians. They just wouldn't turn the other cheek, dude.
They should have just forgave you. That's what they do. That's what they should do.
I'm like Christian of them.
Unbelievable. So yeah, we are getting to sort of the end point of the interview now, and one there that I always like to leave it. What advice would you give to younger self that's starting out in the band, and what advice would you give to new musicians that want to get involved in it?
Yeah. Fuck, guys, I have so much advice, but I feel like if you're a new band starting out, or if you're any musician, like, don't ever underestimate the power of social media and what you can do with social media. Because we used it to break out of Africa and, get to where we are today. And like, don't underestimate the power of memes. Use memes. If you don't have money to run ads and to do paid promo, then do ads and do like contests and fucking shit like that. Just go all in on your promo. Look what all the bigger bands do and do exactly what the bigger bands do. Like, go with the artists that the bigger bands use. Go with the producers that the bigger bands use. The biggest way, like the quickest way to get to the level of the bigger bands is to do the exact same shit that they're doing. So if you record an album and you use the same producer, the same artists, and all of those type of things, and the same marketing strategies and things like that the other bands use, then you'll get to that level quickly. And don't try and think that'll happen overnight either. Just keep doing it. If you start a band now and you start a project now and you keep pushing it now, in 10 years' time, you'll be at the level that we're at.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That's great advice. That is honestly, like, because that's one thing like I've always sort of like looked at is like when people cheap out on producers and like recording artists, it's kind of like sometimes it's like, dude, like, just pay the little extra bit and
exactly.
Like it'll go a lot further.
And the thing is, like, there's a lot of bands as well. Like, you don't have to go straight to the point of the biggest producer, but there's a lot of affordable options of bands that are like at a mid-tier level. So like, just don't skimp when it comes to things like that. And just keep making music and throw as much shit at the wall until something sticks.
I like how you say like to not neglect the memes as well, because when you're posting all these memes and then like other bands are getting involved, it's like as much as you get involved in the community, that just makes every band in that sort of era just much bigger. And like, people enjoy seeing that, because when I see that, like, when it's every day, like Bob somewhere and someone's album cover and then the bands are responding in the comments, like, it's like wholesome but hilarious at the same time. So that's what I like to see.
Like, there's been a lot of like Bob haters, which is what we call them, and like that, blah blah blah. But like, the thing is, he has made a lot of people smile and like brought a lot of people together and like help people discover bands that deserve to be shown. Like, we want to help bring other bands up, and that's a cool thing now. Like, I've seen, if I can go with the Vulvodynia page and if I just comment on anything, like if it's another band single or anything, all of our fans from the 100,000 likes start seeing that post. So like, bigger bands can use that to bring up smaller bands. So like, don't be afraid to send messages out to the artists that you love and be like, hey bro, can you guest feature on my song, or can you share my track, or like, whatever. Just reach out there, because you'll get people that are like, fuck you bro, or like ignore your message, but there are nice dudes out there that will reply and actually help out.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It's all about feeding into the scene that you love, really, as well. Like,
helping each other.
Like, instead of seeing it as a competition, just see it as like, yeah, you do it. Like, it's helping you, like, your area of music grow even bigger.
Yeah,
it brings publicity to both of you.
Bands, like, just like, especially in your local scenes, like, don't hate on other bands. Like, see what you can do to like spread knowledge, especially in your local scene, like to help other bands out, because there's so many good music. They just need that little, that little bit of help to get to that next level.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But
yeah, cheers so much, Duncan. Like, I had a great time talking to you. It's been informative, funny, and honestly, can't wait to see you guys again, because you always put on a killer performance.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me. Really, it's been so fucking rad. It's a fucking dope podcast. And yeah, guys, check out our new album, Pronuncius Infinity.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. As soon as it drops.
Definitely. I'm really excited for it. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Now, you guys are the bomb.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take care. See you in the UK, hopefully.